number 2 from the Persuasive Speaking Manual, which was previously the Professional Salesperson Manual. If you were here for speech number 1, the effective salesperson, that was a 10 to 13 minute speech, and that speech required me to sell a retail item that is not really expensive, moderately priced retail item. Remember, that was a hand drill. However, it did require the consumer to come to my place of business. The difference in speech number 2, it's a longer speech, and more importantly, it's an expensive product, which takes a little bit more time and maybe a little bit more strategy to explain to your clientele or your customer. It also entails cold calling the client instead of having them come to you. So you have to contact the client, illustrate the need for the product that you're selling, and then have them agree to meet with you. So that's what's going to happen in this. Please. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm realizing I'm doing 2 things.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the purpose of the cold call and the objective, and the reason I'm giving you this information so you can be part of this speech in the third part of the speech, which is a 3-part speech, as Carol stated. So what I need to do, my objectives as the cold calling salesperson are four objectives. The first is to obviously pinpoint a specific clientele that they do indeed need my services. Then at that time, contact that clientele, and in doing so, explain to them the needs and highlight the benefits of my services or my product that I'm trying to sell them. Thirdly is obviously to ask questions and receive questions and answers from the client or potential sales or potential client or potential person that we're trying to sell the product to. And then ultimately deal with objections, come to an agreement, make a decision to buy or not buy, and then hopefully close the transaction. So that is the purpose of me explaining this to you now, so that you understand the objectives. Because in the third part of this, I want you to be involved as well as John is going to be my role-playing partner as well as John. So this is, as Carolyn stated, this is a 3-part speech. The first part right now that I'm giving you is the information that's going to help you better understand the purpose of the speech. That's 3 to 4 minutes, excuse me. The second part of the speech is the body of the speech, where John and I are going to role play the cold call scenario, conquering the cold call, and that's going to be 5 to 7 minutes. And then the final conclusion will be 2 to 3 minutes, where John and I, in an informal manner, will discuss the role-playing process, if it was beneficial, what was positive, what maybe didn't work so well, and ultimately have you guys involved in that as well. So now I'm going to call John up. So you know, before John comes up, this is completely unrehearsed as far as I just explained to him 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago outside that asked him to do this. He agreed graciously, and there's no specific questions and answers that have already been determined. So John, if you come up with us. The scenario is, I've already made a recent cold call to John after hours through my telemarketing efforts, and John has agreed to meet me at his place of business. The product that I'm selling him is the potential for a refinance of his primary residence, the home he lives in. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I'm Neil Cator. We spoke on the phone earlier this week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the opportunity, or giving me the opportunity, and taking the time to meet with me today. Now, we only briefly discussed the information over the phone as far as the possibility of doing a refinance of your primary residence. So the purpose of today is for me to get some specific information and determine what, if anything, would be the best possible option for you to refinance your home. So would it be okay if I just ask you some specific questions? Okay, great. So you stated that you've been in your home about 8 years, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And you only have one mortgage currently on that home?
that's true.
Okay. And do you know what your balance is right now on that?
My balance is about $150,000.
About $150,000. Okay, good. Do you happen to know what the value is, or what the? I mean, I know these times are a little interesting.
Things are fluctuating lately,
Yeah,
but I would have to say about $400,000.
About $400,000. Okay. So you get $150,000 on the balance, and you're at 400,000. So you've got a pretty good bit of equity in the home. Okay. That puts you in a position, John, not knowing what your credit score is yet or what your other debts are, to determine what would be the best option for you. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper now and ask specific questions about if you have other ancillary debt that you may want to retire in the form of refinance, or get cash out to pay off other debts. And also, really, the first and foremost question that I should ask is anyone else on the loan with you right now?
No.
Nobody's on the loan with you. Okay. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want your wife to be or your spouse to be on the loan?
If that gives her more responsibility, yes.
Okay. Well, there's a couple ways we can go about that, whether she's on the loan or which is traditionally on the financial instrument, or just on the deed. And we can discuss that later, determining which is the best situation for her. I do recommend, however, though, if she's not going to be on the loan, that you at least, through the efforts of the title company, put her on the deed of trust in case something unfortunately happened to you. She would have to go into probate with the home on the ownership.
Okay.
So you've got a pretty good equity position in your home currently. Do you have any idea, do you have any initial plans to move anytime soon?
No, I've got a stable job,
Okay.
and I've got children in local schools, so I'm here.
Okay, so you're planning long term. The reason I ask that is it gives me a better idea of what might be the best loan scenario for you, or loan program. For instance, if you were to say to me, well, I work for IBM and they move me every 5 years, then maybe that would be another loan scenario might be more financially beneficial on a monthly basis. So if your children are growing up here and you're stable in your business and you're comfortable here and planning on long term, then obviously that would direct me more toward a long-term fixed product. Okay, we can discuss that. Now let's talk a little bit about your current debt structure. I haven't accessed your credit now, and that would be the next thing I would do with your authorization. We would access yours and possibly yours and your spouse's credit to determine two things. That would show me all of your liabilities on paper, and we would confirm those. And it would also give me, most importantly, your credit score. And your credit score is, well, we can't put enough importance on credit score in this new economic environment because the lenders are putting a huge emphasis on credit score. With that said, have you had your credit pulled recently or accessed your
I
credit?
bought a car recently, and he came in the office and he said it was 600 and in the low 600s.
The low 600s?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not really a great credit score in this current economic environment. So let's go ahead with your authorization later on today. Before we finish up here, I'll get your authorization and your personal information so I can access your credit to determine exactly what it is. Because if it's in the low 600s, we're gonna address some difficulties on doing cash out refinance. We'll still be able to do probably a refinance, but it may not have the best terms. So we'll just determine that in a minute, or at the end of the day when we have an opportunity.
Okay.
Now let's talk a little bit about.
Maybe it was the mid-600s.
Okay.
Let's hope for that.
I'm sure hoping so. So with that said, do you have a lot of debt from your? Do you own your own business?
No.
Okay, so you work for a company where you're paid in the format of a W-2.
Yes.
Okay. And with that said, do you have much outstanding debt outside of your current first mortgage? Do you have car payments and credit card payments and things like that?
I have credit card payments, as much as I choose to pay every month. The balance on that card is $10,000.
$10,000, okay. And do you happen to know what the line is on that? Or excuse me, the balance is $10,000. Do you happen to know what the line of credit is on that?
You mean the maximum?
Yeah, the maximum you can.
20,000.
20,000. Okay, good. That's good. The reason I asked you that is because the way the credit scoring works now is you always want to keep your balance at 50% or less of what your line is. Because a lot of people who, even though they pay their bills on time, they may only get up to, they may have a line of $5,000, but they always keep their balance at 48 or 4,900 and never seem to pay it down. And that actually has a negative impact on your credit scores. So that's on the side note. Okay, so your future expectations are to be in the home long term. The next step for me would be, with your authorization, is to access your credit and then determine what your FICO scores are, what your current debts are, and then if you're open to the idea of possibly consolidating debt, depending on what your monthly budget is right now, and what your monthly payment is on the house, you can look at the two options. You can look at just a straight rate and term refinance from mortgage side and determine if you're already putting enough money away for yourself,
Okay.
your wife, and then also your children for your retirement and for your children's education.
All right.
And if there's any way you can leverage your house payment to help you do that, that would be an option to consider.
Oh,
So that's why I'm asking these questions. So you have enough equity in the home right now. We don't know what your credit score is. It's determined that you're going to be in the home long term at this point, unless something dramatically changes. Let's talk a little bit about where you're at right now in your monthly payment. What is your monthly payment right now?
$900.
Okay, so it's $900 a month. And is that monthly payment just principal and interest in the bank, or is that your principal and interest and then your taxes and your insurance?
It's the whole thing.
The whole thing, great. Do you happen to know, John, what your taxes and your insurance are, or what your taxes are per year?
My property tax is $3,000.
Okay, $3,000 a year? All right, and I can do the calculations off of that to determine what your hazard insurance is or your homeowner's insurance. With that said, I'll go ahead and ask you, do you happen to know the name of your hazard insurance carrier?
State Farm.
State Farm, and do you have a specific agent there?
Oh, yeah, he's been a buddy of mine. Went to high school with him.
Oh, really? Known
Fred.
him a long time?
You know Fred?
I do know Fred.
Yeah.
Fred Cano.
Yeah.
I know Fred. I've worked a little bit with Fred. Okay, well, I can also speak with Fred if we decide to move forward, because I
Okay.
will have to contact him for verification of that. Okay, now, do you have any questions for me? I've been pretty much doing most of the talking here. Do you have any specific questions for me?
Nothing specific, but I think the direction we're going is consolidation. To my benefit. The consolidation of debt and getting an overall decrease in interest rate.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do then is, I'm gonna go ahead and, with your authorization, I'm gonna get your credit score.
Okay.
The way I can do that is ask for your personal information, which is your full name, your current home address, your date of birth, and your social security number. At this point, I would get that authorization, write that information down, and then, after you provided that information for me, John, what I'd like to do is get your email address, either your work or your home email address, and I'll put together 3 scenarios that we can look at. One would be consolidation with potential debt that I determined off of your credit report. And the other 2 would be possibly a 30-year fixed mortgage, or possibly even a 15 or 20-year fixed mortgage, if you wanted to look at the possibility of trying to accelerate paying down the mortgage in a timely fashion, and therefore paying it off in full at a certain time. And with that information, I can go ahead and send you those 3 scenarios, and then when you have those, I'll call you, say, tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening after work, and we can go through those together.
Sure.
It'll give you time to review those and then talk to your wife as well,
Okay.
because it's always important to talk to your wife about financial issues.
You know that.
Well, I read in the paper. So that'd be great, I'd like to do that.
Sure.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time, Tom. Thanks for meeting with me today. Thank you very much. Now, please wait, we're gonna go through the 2 to 3 minutes, this is where we're gonna go through the 2 to 3 minute period, where we're going to discuss